you're gonna use coil, use the metal coil. Nobody wants the plastic stuff, so never do that.
Why is that now?
It doesn't sit on the shelf right, and it cracks, and it doesn't make, and page turns are difficult with it.
Oh.
So just only if you've got something big to bind, ideally saddle stitch it. If it's small enough, staple it, and otherwise use a coil, spiral coil binding, metal coil. Some of them are plastic, but the coil type coils. There's my tip of the day for you. And while we're doing tips of the days, I was talking about CDs before, and never, ever, ever, ever use a paper label on a CD. Either you get the CDs printed off-site by disc makers or something, or if you do it at home, get a very inexpensive, for 99 bucks you can get a printer that will print, on printable CDs, and that's what you want to do for anything that you make at home, printable CDs. There you have it. Never paper labels, they get stuck, and you will really have a disaster on your hands when you're applying for something or what have you, and then the CD jams because of the paper, or it makes noises and the panel can't listen to it, and you're only hurting yourself. I can't tell you the number of problems there have been with paper labels. So, since we're talking about materials and preparing your materials, those are two important things. But the publishing thing is very powerful, but it takes a lot of responsibility. It's very tricky to balance your right brain and your left brain. Because what will happen as you guys get your music out there into the world, you start your own weather system, basically. It's sort of like a little tornado. That suddenly it's really good that more and more people are playing and wanting your music and buying it and commissioning it. But it also means that suddenly you have a lot more responsibility of all these people to deal with and answer to all the time. And so that requires being really organized, and it requires also being organized about your writing schedule. Don't ever let the business overtake the composing, even though many times you'll spend 80% of your week doing business. But that 20%, even if it's only going to be 20%, has to be sacrosanct so that there isn't 0%. And some weeks it's going to be the other way around. Like right now I'm in a writing mode, so I'm spending probably 75% of my week composing and 25% doing business, because I've basically put it in my calendar to do it. I schedule my writing time the same way I would schedule having lunch with you. I wouldn't stand you up for lunch. If we had a lunch date, I'd show up, right? It wouldn't occur to me not to. I treat my writing the same way, and you guys should too. Treat your writing with the same respect you would treat a friend if you were going to meet them for a meal. You wouldn't stand them up. So that's the only way to get it done, really. If you leave it to chance, I can't tell you the number of weeks that have gone by, without enough notes getting written to make me happy, just because there was so much other stuff swirling around, all the business stuff to take care of. So I try to schedule in my calendar when I'm going to be doing what. And I also keep a list, it's sort of a triaged list, just next to me on my computer, on the computer screen, of the different levels of to-dos. Some things are things that you have to do that day. Some are things you have to do in the next 3 days. Some are things that just need to get done before the end of the month, right? And we all know what those are, and you have to just keep them in perspective and deal with them as they come on. You guys are probably ready for lunch or something, right? Let's take a break, and then we'll get into all the other stuff. It's an endless topic.